Tonight, the Maine House formally censured a state representative after she drew national attention for a Facebook post that singled out a transgender high school athlete in Maine.
A few moments later.
She, of course, appealed this and filed an emergency appeal asking for her votes to be counted while this lawsuit plays out in the punishment. So that's what the Supreme Court ruled on just this afternoon.
And we are back, and we're back, y'all. Thank you for watching today. Go ahead and hit that like button, people. You know that it helps us out a ton. And, of course, it helps you because it helps us. Now, y'all, we have been keeping up with what's going on in the great state of Maine, where your girl, Governor Janet Mills, has thrown down the gauntlet, and she has said biological boys, according to our law, should be able to compete with biological girls depending on how they feel inside. That's that. And she says she's going to take it all the way to the bat with that. And that's exactly what she has done. Now, there have been numerous tussles that Governor Mills has had with the Trump administration in person, in court, behind closed doors. And it looks like Trump administration's winning some. Governor Janet Mills and them, they're winning some. But what has happened most recently is that the people in Maine who want to support biological boys competing with biological girls, they just took a L, y'all. They just took a loss. Now, why is that? Because one of Maine state representatives stood on business and said, I'm not going along with this. And they censured her for that. But now that's kind of how people would tell the story at a barbecue maybe. But actually the facts do matter in this case. So let's get all of the facts as to why a Maine state representative was censured, which basically means punished. She's being blocked from speaking. She's being blocked from voting. Let's take a look at exactly why she's being punished for her stance on allowing biological boys to compete with biological girls in Maine. Then we're going to see what the U.S. Supreme Court has to say about it, because they ruled on this situation just today.
Tonight, the Maine House formally censured a state representative after she drew national attention for a Facebook post that singled out a transgender high school athlete in Maine. Representative Laurel Libby's post criticized Maine's policy of allowing transgender athletes to participate in girls' sports. News Center Maine's Donovan Lynch has the latest developments from the State House.
And when the woke left can't silence women, they cancel them.
A fierce debate in the Maine legislature as a lawmaker is disciplined for a viral social media post.
I think it will be very clear that the standard is to not post photos of minors as part of political fodder.
On Tuesday, the Maine House of Representatives moving to censure Republican State Representative Laurel Libby for sharing images and the name of a transgender high school athlete in Maine. The lawmaker criticizing the teenager's victory in a girls' track and field event.
Boys participating in girls' sports is not fair.
Libby receiving strong support from her own party against the censure.
She's actually practicing freedom of speech and standing up for girls in Maine.
With one GOP lawmaker drawing scrutiny for his language.
People maybe should have thought about approaching the good representative before we do a lynching.
The member will defer.
During debate, Democrats offering a fierce rebuke of the lawmaker from Auburn.
No child designed these rules, and no child deserves to be targeted by any adults who are upset about them.
That stance drawing support from Republican Ken Fredette, though he ultimately urged his colleagues to reject the censure.
Photos, images, statements of somebody else's children to make a point. I think that's dead wrong.
Gender dysphoria on a pedestal, and
The clash between House Democrats and their Republican counterparts coming to a head as the censure passed, and Speaker Ryan Fecteau invited Libby to the front of the chamber to apologize for the post. She declined.
I will not apologize for speaking up for Maine girls who are having their voices silenced.
Well, the debate will be had on the policy issue. The question before us is not related to that. The question before us is the post appropriate? This legislature has determined that it's not.
Now, because Representative Libby did not issue an apology, she won't be able to vote or speak on the floor until she changes course. In Augusta, Donovan Lynch, News Center, Maine.
So today, the United States Supreme Court had their say. They issued a ruling about this entire kerfuffle. And we're going to take a look at what the Supreme Court ruled on this issue right now. But before we do, real quick, if you have $50,000 to $100,000 or more in your IRA or retirement and you want to protect it from monetary debasement, from inflation, from everything, particularly if you're about to retire soon, y'all need to talk to my people at Augusta Precious Metals. They'll hook you up. They'll help you prevent your money from evaporating away as our country spins itself into oblivion. Go to Paralegold, PARALEGOLD.com or call 844-651-8334. 844-651-8334.
That news broke just about an hour ago, and lawmakers are still inside. The House particularly had a pretty big calendar today, so they are still inside, but there was a little bit of a break where a lot of people were looking at their phones and kind of, chit-chatting about the news. We are expected to hear from the Republican leader in the Maine House, Representative Billy Bob Fockingham, in just a couple minutes, and he's going to respond to this for us. But how did we get here? We've been reporting since February about this viral social media post. Representative Laurel Libby posted two photos, one of a transgender, two photos of the same transgender athlete, one 2 years apart, and she highlighted the fact that she says this young person won the Class B pole vault as a girl after competing as a boy the year prior. Because of that social media post, Representative Libby was censured by the Democratic-run Maine State House in order to get her vote and her voice back on the House floor. She would have had to issue a formal apology to the Speaker of the Maine House, Ryan Fecteau. She, of course, appealed this and filed an emergency appeal asking for her votes to be counted while this lawsuit plays out in the punishment. So that's what the Supreme Court ruled on just this afternoon. I haven't had a chance to get in touch with Representative Libby today. I've given her a call as well as texted her, but she did release a statement in a press release shortly after the decision came out. And she said in part, "The Supreme Court has affirmed what should have never been in question, that no state legislature has the power to silence an elected official simply for speaking truthfully about issues that matter." Since this censure has come down, Representative Libby she's been in the news a lot. She's been doing a lot of media interviews, particularly national interviews. She also went to Washington, D.C., and she participated in the Department of Justice lawsuit. That was when Attorney General Pam Bondi filed a lawsuit against the Maine Department of Education. So Laurel Libby has very much been, front of mind when it comes to the Title IX conversation here in Maine.
So y'all, it looks like Governor Janet Mills, her side, they have taken an L on this one. The Supreme Court came down on the side, probably on procedural grounds, but they came down on the side of, if you're going to say there's two sides, they came down on the side of the people who are trying to use, I would say, stick to tradition, right? Separate boys and girls and everybody in high school and school sports by identifiable characteristics: your sex, your weight, your height, your years of experience, your grade level. These are identifiable characteristics that we've always used to categorize people for sports. Why should we start changing that now into how I feel inside? It doesn't make any sense. And I'm sure everybody can see that. But I also believe in protecting the children, y'all. So holding up a child as an example of what's going wrong in society is very dangerous for that child. It is dangerous because that is a child. So the parents, the administrators, the lawmakers, the legislators, those are the people who really need to be taken to task, not the child, him or herself. Let me know what you think, if you agree with me or if you disagree. If you agree or disagree with the Supreme Court, let me know down in the comments. But before you do, please stop, hit the share button, share this video out over email, text message, WhatsApp, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, all your favorite social mediums. And of course, if you're not a subscriber, please do subscribe. Now, y'all, if you have $50,000 to $100,000 or more in your retirement account, go down, click the link, Paralegold, PARALEGOLD.com. Get the information. Aren't you tired of worrying about whether your retirement's going to be enough, whether it's going to evaporate away due to inflation? Go down, get the information, put in your information, download the guide, read it, And then talk to my people at Augusta Precious Metals at 844-651-8334. See how you can protect your precious nest egg. I want to thank y'all for watching. Love y'all, and we'll see you back in the next one.